What's up, everybody? As you may or may not have heard, we got a brand new weapon for Cold War. Kind of like how they added the Royale and the CX-9 later for Modern Warfare. They've now done the same thing for Cold War, and we now, yesterday, received the Vargo 52. I'm just going to come out and say it right away. Not going to waste your time. This thing is absolutely meta. Time to kill is right up there with all of the meta Cold War weapons, while having probably less recoil than the Farah, so it's got pretty much no recoil at all. And it's got a better time to kill than like all the Vanguard weapons, like almost all the Modern Warfare weapons, and it competes with all of the Cold War time to kills. I'll go ahead and jump over in a second to JGOD's numbers, and then I will jump over to True Game Data after that and just show you the comparisons and show you that this thing really is in the meta, and then we'll jump back over to Warzone and I'll show you the loadout like usual. Okay, and as usual, JGOD will keep these off his spreadsheet for at least a few days, if not week and a half. Probably direct people more towards his content. As usual, I will have this video linked down below, but he has his numbers right here in front of us. He actually compared it with the XM4. You'll see my comparisons in a second. The up close TTK, if you hit all headshots or all neck shots, it's 375, which is going to be one of the fastest in the game. I think like the well gun can get to 333, and I think that's the fastest. The KG M40 can reach like 350 something. I'll link that video down below as well. And then even if you hit all chest, stomach, and limb shots, up close it's 600, which is still competitive. You mix in 2 headshots, JGOD's got it at 525, and if you mix in 4 headshots, he's got it at 450. And then at range, like I said, this thing really has like no recoil at all. It's extremely easy to control with just a little bit of recoil. So it's pretty much no recoil, especially if you're on controller. You have aim assist. This gun's an absolute laser beam. So even at range, it's 750. And you can see in JGOD's comparison, the XM4, which is really good, has 749. And then if you hit all head and neck shots with the Vargo, it's actually 450, which is 49 milliseconds faster than the XM4. So this thing's absolutely within the meta for time to kill. Practical time to kill is just 3 headshots, which isn't very hard when this thing is such a laser beam. You get 600. That's like top tier meta, absolute meta AR. Let's go ahead and jump over to True Game Data, and I'll just show you compared to all the other meta Cold War ARs. Okay, and so you'll see on True Game Data, I have this loaded into chest shots. I have it so it shows up to 100 meters, and I put in the Vargo, the Farah, the Cold War AK, the C58, and the EM2. Actually forgot the XM4, but you just saw in JGOD's numbers, it's extremely comparable. So if you look, it is beating out the Farah and the EM2 until the first drop off, and then it kind of gets beat by a lot with just chest shots. But like I said, this thing probably has the least amount of recoil of any meta AR or LMG of any of the 3 games. And up until its first damage drop off, it drops off at the same spot in the AK, and it's competing with the AK. That's if you're only hitting chest shots. If you go to headshots, the difference, it's a lot different. Sorry, I gotta scroll down. So only headshots, it's the fastest all the way up to the first damage drop off of almost 40 meters, 38.6. And even then, now it's easily beating out the AK and the Farah, which much easier to control than both of those. And it's barely losing to the C58 and the EM2, and it's got way less recoil than those guns. So we saw just by the number XM4 comparison with JGOD, and then here on True Game Data, we have the comparison to the rest of the Cold War meta. And you can see it's easily in the meta. Like I said, it has like absolutely no recoil. It's extremely easy to control, even with its high fire rate. If you want to see some clips, I will have those posted in the coming days on my TikToks. So if you want to see how easy that recoil is to control, check those out. But let's go ahead and jump over to Warzone, and I'll show you the loadout. Okay, and if you know Cold War guns, you're probably going to already know this loadout, but I'll go ahead and go over it for those that don't. Just so you know, just heads up, right now the blueprint is bugged, and you can't use the blueprint in game, so you have to use just the regular base weapon. But the blueprint for the Ferrofluid pack does have the meta build for once. It's like the only meta build I've ever seen in a COD store. So if you don't want to level the gun up, or you don't have to unlock it and level it up, that is the way to go. If you don't mind spending the money. And as far as the weapons say level 1, but it's not. Mine's 54, and it's got everything. So it's Grew Suppressor. It's the usual Cold War AR loadout. Go Grew Suppressor, Task Force Barrel, Spetsnaz Grip, not Speed Grip. Spetsnaz Grip. 45 if you're doing solos, duos, maybe trios. 60 for trios and quads. It is a little slow to ADS, so if you're worried about that, do go 45. But for trios and quads, I'd recommend sticking with 60. And then because it's not Vanguard, we have one less attachment. At number 5, we have the Axe Arms 3 times or your preferred optic. Like I said, it's a normal Cold War build. Since it's got that really good time to kill and it doesn't have a whole lot of recoil, I don't think the iron sights are bad. I don't think they're great, so I'd probably go whatever your favorite close range optic is. And you could drop the barrel and keep the GRU suppressor like we do for the AK. That's probably what I would recommend. If you're doing like an SMG build, I would either drop the barrel and keep the GRU suppressor, and then throw on either the GRU elastic or the serpent wrap just to quicken up that ADS. Or the other option is, as I do with the AK, where you go normal suppressor and you keep the task force barrel on there, and then you drop the serpent grip or the optic. Kind of up to you. Those are the kind of ways to run it. Both I think will be very good. I definitely think this jumps right into the meta, especially if you're on control and you get the aim assist and there really is like 0 recoil at all. But thank you again for watching. I appreciate any watch time at all, even if you just skipped right ahead to the loadout. Even if you only watch for a second, I appreciate any watch time at all. Any interaction really helps on the video. So please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more. Let me know down below if you think this is worth unlocking, or if you're not going to bother because you like the Farah and the AK enough. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. But I will have everything linked I mentioned. I'll have my KG M40 video, JGOD's video on this weapon, as well as true game data. And also my social media is linked as well, so please feel free to visit those. But I will see you on Rebirth Island and Caldera. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.